Hello everyone, I'm Ian from Creative Visuals, and today I'm going to be going over some of the features that I want Sony to add to their next APS-C size sensor camera. So I have the a6300 here, and I do know there is an a6500. I do not have it right now, but really the two cameras are pretty similar other than like in-body image stabilization, which this lacks and makes me sad, but other than that they are two pretty similar cameras. So today I'm just going to be going over some of the features that I want them to add to the next one, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will agree with me upon this. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying these are the specs of the next Sony camera. I just like talking about it, and I think some of you guys like to hear about it. So in upcoming videos I'll go through and find all the leaks and that for you guys and to get some actual hard evidence, I guess, about the next Sony camera, whatever it may be called. But for today, I'm just going to be going over some of the features that I really want them to add. So if we take a look at the specs of the a6500, it has a 24 megapixel sensor, which I think is completely fine. It's good because it's a good range in between quality and low light. If you go up too high in the megapixels, your low light suffers. If you go down too low, your quality suffers. I think 24 is a sweet spot. It's why most cameras these days, unless you go up to like the A7R3, a lot of them are 24 megapixels. Maybe they be full frame or APS-C. So I think they hit the sweet spot there. ISO is also good in my opinion. They could upgrade their low light and noise reduction software on that in the camera, but for the most part ISO is solid. 11 frames per second shooting, you can't go wrong with it. That's really good, especially for a mid-range camera. Nothing there. Now there is one SD card slot, and this is something that's kind of controversial. Some people need to, some people don't. I think at this range, a lot of people can't justify using two SD cards in one camera for an APS-C size mid-range camera. I think a lot of people just don't need it. They could, on the other hand, move it to a better location rather than here with the battery. It's not the best spot for it, and if they do just include one, I would be very happy if they moved it somewhere else. But really, if they keep the same form factor, I don't know where they would put another SD card in this. This thing, both of them are just such small cameras. The whole A6000 line up to A65, wholly they're small. So next, we have to talk about the screen. Now, they need to add a flip out screen. Like, this is not enough. A lot of people use these for vlogging, there's just no doubt about it. A huge portion of the people who have these A6000, A65, A63, they use them for vlogging. And having a flip out screen, like, they just need that. I put it in capitals on here, they need that. If they added a flip out screen to these things would sell like hotcakes. I kid, like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. They need to add a flip-out screen. If they don't, it won't really affect me because I don't do much vlogging, but a lot of people would not buy the camera just because of that, and a lot of people would buy it just because of that if they did add it. So, flip-out screen, Sony. You heard it here and everywhere else on the internet. You heard it. Okay. So, in-body image stabilization, it's already great. 5-axis. I want it in my a6300, but if I upgrade to the a6500, that would be like why I would do it, so they could improve upon it, even make it faster, whatever they can do. But really, at this point, their in-body image stabilization is already. So next, there's about 3 downsides to 4K, and upside is 100 megabytes per second, crazy quality, looks so good. The 3 downsides: 1, they are known to overheat. They were supposed to improve upon it in the a6500, but it's not fixed. It's not gone. So overheating is the one downside. The second downside to most APS-C size sensors have a rolling shutter rather than a global shutter, so it scans the sensor rather than doing the whole sensor at once, and if you're moving it all, if it's fast motion, you get a jello effect. And it can be fixed in Adobe Premiere Pro and other editing softwares, but really, at this price point, it would be nice if they added a global shutter. It would be really nice if they did that. But that's the second downside. And the third downside is battery life. So, especially when you're recording in 4K, these cameras, the Sony a6700, 6300, 65, their battery life suffers. You can usually get about an hour and a half to 2 hours of recording, but still, it would be nice to have more. You need extra batteries, and it would be nice if they could either make them more efficient, or if they really had to, if they were going to change the battery so we couldn't use our old batteries in it, they would have to make them a lot bigger. I just don't know where they put them in such a small camera body. It would be nice if they kept them the same and just made the camera itself more efficient so that the battery lasted longer without forcing us to buy new batteries. So, those are the downsides to 4K, and the upside is, like I said, 100 megabytes per second. It is beautiful, but one thing I don't think they're going to be adding this, but it would be amazing if they did, which is 60 frames per second at 4K. That would just blow me away. 60 frames per second, slow motion 4K. You can't. It's like the difference between the Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro. It goes from a good camera to an amazing camera, and I know that's also partly the sensor itself and the 1-inch sensor and that, but for frame rates, just that 4K at 60, you cannot go wrong with it. It is beautiful. 4K 60 on the Sony cameras would just, they already sell amazingly, and they would sell even better with 4K 60. So next, those are the things I think that they should add to it. If you guys have anything, leave them down in the comments below. I think all of that would be great. Like, really, the main points here that I'm trying to get across. They should add USB 3.0. They could add a second SD card slot, but they don't need to. It's fine with one. Just position it better on the camera than down here beside the battery. That would be great. Their 11 frames per second is great. They need to add a flip-out screen. No ifs, ands, or buts. Many people vlog with this camera. A flip-out screen would be great. Next, better cooling, bigger batteries, or more efficient batteries. But if they're just going to make it more efficient, make sure that we can use the same batteries so we don't have to go buy new ones. Sensors have a rolling shutter, but a global shutter on this, it would just get rid of all the jello. We don't want jello in our footage. And just some little picky things, maybe a 1/8,000th of a second shutter speed would be nice as well. And even a headphone jack for monitoring audio levels. But really, that's getting pretty nitpicky. So, those are my suggestions for the next Sony camera, whatever it may be, a6700, 6900, 6800, whatever. We went from the 6000, what did we go from? 6000, 63, 65, so I don't know, maybe it's a leap year, I don't know what it is. Sony, you can choose what it's called, but just add some of these features and I'm sure a lot of people will be happy, including myself. So that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more drone, tech, camera, everything. Photography, videography, all that cool jazz. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, I guess. I'm not going to do that.